Okay, so now we're ready to just see if it'll come to life at all. Not really worried about it working. I just want to make sure that the transformer works and see what happens. So I did some research on it. I found that there was 2 fuse holders, but you only use one if you're going to use one 17, and you use the other one if you're going to use 220. So I have a half amp fuse in there right now. It says it takes a 6.6 tenths of an amp, but we're not going to be running up to full power, and I certainly want it to blow if anything's going to happen. What else do I have? I have a voltmeter there, and we're going to check the DC coming right outside of the rectifier. It uses a Selenium Rectifier, and I have the speaker. You can see the cabinet over on this side, right here. Right there is the speaker. It's hooked up just in case it makes some noise. So I'm going to turn on. I have the variac and the load. So I'm going to turn on the variac and start to bring it up, and see what happens. We're all the way down to 0. Alright, so now I haven't run through the limit, which means this light will start to come up if there's a load. So I'm going to start to turn it up. Still way down, probably at about 30-40 volts. The little meter here hasn't even started to recognize anything yet. I can see the light bulb right here is lighting up on the tuner. Our range is already at 138 volts DC output from the rectifier. Let's see what our still, I think we're a little bit low to pick up the voltage. Bring it up a little more. We're at 180 volts DC. Let's see if we can get the voltage now. 84.83 volts AC going into it. Again, you can see things seem to be coming to life a little bit. I see some tubes lighting up. 150 volts DC at the rectifier. Bring it up a little bit more. 96 volts, 170 volts. We should be somewhere in the area of about 240, I'm estimating, coming out of that transformer. We're at 117. We're here showing us 187 volts. We're still at 106. So we're getting to 190 some coming out of that. And again, that's for the different settings. I'd imagine that it goes up when I choose these. I'll have to show you something interesting about choosing the AM, FM, and everything. But we're at about 190. I'm just going to try another band and see what happens. 192 on that one. So a little bit, we're almost at 110 volts. We're at about 202 on this. 117, 206. So I'm going to start to back it back down. Let me just see if I hear any noise over at the speaker. So I'm going to walk around a little bit. I can definitely hear a hum from the speaker, so I'm going to start to back it back down. And there it's back on. So it seems to come to life. The transformer voltage, I'll have to double check exactly what I was supposed to see at that point there. Again, like I said, it's tough to work off that schematic because it's very hard to see it. But I'm going to say that the transformer's working. Didn't blow the half-amp fuse, so we're good there. All the tubes lit up. I think I can go ahead and start looking at maybe what components we'll need to redo this, and we'll go from there. I'm going to pull the camera off the stand to show you a couple of things in a minute. So one of the things, this guy right here, that's a Selenium Rectifier, like a bridge, set up like a bridge rectifier, and that'll get replaced with a silicone one. Some of the wiring on this, you can see, instead of using like rubber coated wire, they actually use almost like a transformer wire, where it has a harder shell on the outside. Same thing with up here with this wire that was going to the speakers. Again, I still don't see anywhere where they're showing inductors or coils going to the speakers. I'm not sure what that whole story was about, but that's something we can look at later. One of the things here that I wanted to point out, if you look, well, let me show you from the top first. Basically, it has two different tuning sets. And let me see if I can show you what I'm talking about. This tuning set right here moves this capacitor, and that's for one set of bands. And then I believe the FM band, or what possibly they call the UKW, is this tuning set over here. Now let's see. For some reason that's really tight. I'm going to have to research and find out what that's all about. But that's under here. But anyhow, when you go to adjust the bands, when you push these levers down, and let me see if I can show you which levers I'm referring to. When you push these levers down, they correspond to different things. So I'll push it, we'll just pick this lever here. It's the KW band, which is looks like it's 9 to 15 megahertz, still kind of dirty in there. But if you look, when I would turn this tuning dial, I'm going to see if I can zoom up to show you where I'm talking about. Right here, when I turn this tuning dial, it kind of turns this whole thing, and the tuning wheel is right in here. Point at it with something so that I don't have to stick my finger in there. Back in here is where the string wraps are on for the tuning wheel for that. Now if I was to push the FM band, you're going to see it actually moves this and separates it. Now when I turn it, this gear turns. This one stays still, this one turns. So kind of interesting how they did that. I don't know if that's the best idea, but that looks like that could probably use some work also. Back closing it on again, I turn it now, and this one turns. So this one still turns, but I'm not sure, like it'll stay still. So I don't know how much drag it's supposed to have. But inside there, appears to be like a rubber washer, which may be worn out. That may be causing all the issues. And so the next thing to do is I'm going to take and see why the FM tuner section doesn't move. Could be just rusted, or I have something calculated incorrectly. And then I want to get the values of all the caps in here and see what I'm going to be looking at to replace all the caps. Now I looked already. These are 50 microfarads at about 350 and 385. There's two in that condenser there. Let me zoom down to it so you can see which one I'm talking about. the power supply cap right here. It's two 250s, one's 350, one's 385. I'll just get, you know, two at 450, whatever I can get, and probably just mount a strip to the board. And I'll use smaller capacitors. The rest of these will get replaced with polys, and then I'll have to check some other stuff. This tube right here, if I'm correct, is almost like a magic eye tube that, and I'm looking at right there, it lines up with this right here. Let's see if I can turn it up a little bit higher. Yeah, that tube back here that's right on this side here, it lines up with that. So I think it's like almost like a magic eye for tuning. And that's all I know for now. Okay, to get into the FM tuning section, it's not really that. I think that's the FM. I'm going to say this, but I assume this is the FM tuning section. It's not really that hard. There's a couple screws you can loosen them up, because this is slotted. This is slotted, so you can just loosen the screws up, slide them out, and then there's two little metal clips. You pull these up, and when you pull these up out of here, they fit into these grooves. They just hold it on, and it slides right off. But now that I'm looking at it, you see something here. I don't know if that's glue or some kind of damage. I need a little more light on the subject. Okay, it looks like glue. I was able to move it up a little bit. But this piece was in here as well, this white piece, just like that. I'm not sure what that's all about. So we'll take it out and keep it. But now the story as to why this doesn't move. Now I can see there is a gear involved with this. I have to look at why. I see a lot of burn marks in here, and I don't know if it was just from the years. I don't know if you can see this one here that I'm looking at. Let me see if I can zoom into it. I don't think you can really see it. On the outside of this screw here, or this trimmer here, I can't tell if it's just burned or just corrosion. So it'll take some looking around here and to find out why. Let's see if I put it on FM. Yeah, it still doesn't move. Well, I'll have to research into that and see why that's not moving. But anyhow, more to the story. So this should wrap up part 2, and part 3 will be, I want to know a little bit more, and I see how much we're going to look for in parts. Thanks for watching.